All right, y'all. Hit the like button, follow, subscribe, enjoy the podcast. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Shooting Park podcast. Sorry this week's a little bit delayed. Celebrating the Eagles' big win. Um, so I've just been a little bit preoccupied here, but we'll get this one out. Thankfully, there was no TGL this week, so I was able to do it a couple days late without missing that. Um, but let's go ahead. We'll recap last week real quick, and then we'll get into some of the news. So last week you had for the PGA, you had the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I don't know if you guys saw the story on Instagram. I posted. Great tournament, a lot of fun to watch, a lot of great golf being played. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Thomas Detry all played out of their minds. So it was a lot of fun to watch. Ended up, Thomas Detry did win it at 24 under. Kim and Berger, Michael Kim, Daniel Berger, minus 17 tied for second. And then Christian Busenhoit and Jordan Spieth, minus 16 tied for fourth. So Thomas Detry pretty much controlled the course from start to finish. He went 5 under round 1, 7 under round 2, and then 6 under rounds 3 and 4. People were trying to make moves all weekend. Could never get enough on Detry to have him panic and throw off his game. Captured his first PGA Tour win this weekend. He also birdied the final 4 holes of the tournament just to cement his dominance. Like, played out of his mind. Berger and Kim, I believe it was Kim, made a run at it. He took the lead for like half a second. Or no, he got within 1 or something like that on the final round. And then Detry just went ahead and birdied the final 4 holes just to put it to bed. But Berger earned a T2 finish with Kim, which also earned both of them a spot at the next signature event, the Genesis Open, which is this weekend, via the Ion Swing 5. It'll be Berger's first signature event since his back injury almost 2.5 years ago now. So great for him to finally be back in a signature event. He's finally getting back to some of the golf. He came back last year. I think it was a little bit over a year now. Could never really find his form in 2024, but obviously he's playing a lot better. He played really well at the events so far this year. So hopefully he can continue doing that. Come back from back surgery, it's a major thing. So I think he was away for about 18 months before he came back last year. So it's been a while since he's been able to play well, so it's good to see him. And then it's going to be an awesome tournament for Michael Kim, who got into the Genesis with the same thing, the T2 finish. It'll be a homecoming for him. Grew up in the area and went to Torrey Pines High School, so really cool for him. The event is in San Diego, Torrey Pines. It got moved from LA because of the wildfires, so yeah, it'll be a homecoming for him. And then obviously you had Jordan Spieth looking great. It almost looks like he's getting back to that 2015, 2017 Spieth, playing even better than he did the week before. He looks happy. He looks healthy. He looks like he's back to finally enjoying it after his wrist surgery and everything. So it's really fun to see him at the top. And then especially you also have Justin Thomas, who came in 6th in this tournament, came in 2nd, I believe 2 tournaments ago. So he's playing really well. It's cool to see them both in the top 10. They both had such a good run there for those early or late 2010s. And I think JT won 1 or 2 events early 2020s. So it's good to see them back now. But outside of that, great tournament all around. Had a lot of fun watching it. I will touch on Luke Clanton a little bit later on. But outside of that, we're on to the LPGA Founders Cup, Bradenton Country Club. Let me know won it at minus 21. Jin Young Koo at minus 17 in second. Megan Kang at minus 16 in third. Hannah Green and Jin Hee Im minus 13 tied for fourth. And then, Mia Yamashita also was 13 or minus 13 tied for fourth as well. Nelly Quarter finished outside of the top five this week. Shot an even par 71 on the final day after going 12 under in the first 3 days. Doesn't really look like her normal self, but you know, it is early in the season, and it's also a testament just to the talent that's on the LPGA. There's a lot of talent on that tour, obviously, so it is a testament to how good they are and that they're making it hard for her to win. And it's also a testament to how ridiculous her dominance was last year, because it was ridiculous. I think she won 5 of the first 6 or 6 of the first 7, something like that. So her dominance last year was ridiculous to start the season. I'm sure she'll be fine. I'm sure she'll get back to winning a couple events this year, but I don't know if we're going to see her win 7 events like she did last year, 7 or 8 events, however many it was. She was out of her mind last year. But outside of that, No was impressive, especially in rounds 2 and 3, shooting a 64-7 under in those 2 rounds. 64-7 under round 2 and a 63-8 under in round 3. Before rounding it up with the same score that she shot on round 1, which was 68-3 under. Captured her first win on the LPGA. So great for her. Hopefully she can keep that up, keep competing. On the final day, Ko did take the lead at 20 under with 3 birdies on the front 9, but once she hit the back 9, she ended up with 3 bogeys. So brought her back down. And on top of that, No went ahead and just shot that 3 under. So she basically cruised to that victory on the final day there. She won by 4 strokes? Yeah. So she cruised to that on that final day, especially once Ko started bogeying. It was pretty much a wrap by that point. Megan Kang, who shot even par and 4 under on the first 2 days, dominated day 3 with a 9 under 62. Finishing then with a 3 under 68 to round out her tournament. Played really well. And on a side note, Madison Young, who made her first career start, made her first career cut after graduating from the Epson Tour. So great for her. I'm sure she'll be a lot of fun to watch in upcoming events. She played really well. But we'll move on. We'll go to Live Riyadh, Riyadh Golf Club, Saudi Arabia. This was a weird tournament. They played it at night, so it was very odd playing it under the lights and whatnot. I get it was cool, I guess, but you had Adrian Merock at minus 17 win the tournament. John Rahm minus 15, Sebastian Munoz minus 15 tied for second. Dean Burmeister and Lucas Herbert minus 14 tied for fourth, and then tied for fourth. And then for the team, you had Legion, who just dominated the entire tournament, minus 50, won it. And then Ripper and Range Goats tied for second at minus 39. Crushers, minus 36 in fourth, and Fireballs, minus 34 in fifth. Range Goats, shocking that they came in second. I can't remember the last time that they've actually been in the top 5. I can't remember that they've actually been competent, to be honest with you. So pretty cool to see. Ben Campbell coming in 10 under for the tournament, second best player on the team behind Bubba Watson with the 11 under. Good for him. His first tournament with Liv, obviously played well, helped his team to that second place finish. They get the points out of it, so really cool for him. Again, I was more just shocked that Range Goats pulled that off, because they've been atrocious since the beginning of Liv. So shocking that they pulled that off. Outside of that, Yubin Yang was the worst of the newcomers, finishing even for the tournament, tied for 49th, and the rest of the newcomers finished Frederick Kittrup and Luis Massaval -5, tied for 33rd. A little bit disappointing in Massaval. Thought he was going to play better. He was supposed to be a really outstanding young player. First tournament, again, under the lights, kind of weird. It was a weird tournament, so I'm sure he'll be fine moving forward. And then you had Todd Kimmin and obviously Ben Campbell. Both of them shot 10 under, tied for 15th. So both of them played really well in their first tournaments on Live. Rahm led his Legion squad with the -15 T2 finish. And then you had Tyrell Hatton at tied for 6, finished 13 under. Caleb Sturrett, who is a stud young player, 20 years old, tied for 11th at 12 under. I'm sorry, he took 11th by himself, 12 under. And then the aforementioned Tom McKibben, T15, 10 under, rounded out the team for the winners of the team tournament this week. Legion's going to be hard to beat them when it comes to the team, and I think Jon Rahm has pretty much consistently been in the top 5 in almost every single Live tournament he's played in. So I think he's going to end up being the number 1 Live golfer again. So it is what it is. You kind of expect it at this point, but really cool to see. Kind of, again, under the lights just really was weird. They had a ton of lights out there, but obviously really difficult for them to judge distances and whatnot, and just the way the ball's flying. It's also, you're teeing off at 6 p.m. instead of 6 a.m. Local times, and it was very odd to see. A couple of them talked about it afterwards. They said it was really weird, kind of different, didn't really know. I think Jon Rahm said, back when he was younger, back in Spain, he had a par 3 course that he would go out and play because they had lights, completely different, hitting wedges and irons to try and hit a drive in the dark. It's just, I've done it once. It's really, really odd. You have no idea where anything is. At least when I did it with the glowing light balls. I didn't have lights, so I'm sure they had a little bit better of a time. And then obviously the weather too. With it being dark out, it's a little bit cooler. Ball's not flying the same way. So really interesting. But last thing on Live, Adrian Merock took tournament, first of the year, 17 under, got out to an outrageous start. First day he shot 10 under, which was ridiculous. And then he went 6 under round 2, and he went 1 under in round 3. I think that was his first Live tournament win too. So congrats to him there. Really congrats to him on round 1, because that's just an outrageous score to shoot 10 under on that first round. Especially walking into playing under the lights for the first time, and you just walk in and shoot 10 under is ridiculous. I assume that none of them would have shot well that first day and kind of got stronger as the tournament went on, got used to it, but apparently he came out and was ready. So cool for him. Last event last week was the Boston versus LA match in the TGL. LA took the match again, very impressive with the 6-2 win over Boston. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead and basically just never looked back. They took that lead on the first 3 holes, and Boston actually played well at the start. It was just, LA was just locked in with their irons and putters. They were making their putts. They were hitting great iron shots. And really, LA has just been like this for both matches that they've played in. They've led for 29 of the 30 holes that they've played. Ridiculous. They've just been very dominant. Colin Morikawa was hands down the best player of the night, and showed pretty much consistently with every shot why he's considered one of the best iron players in the game. Like, his iron shots were amazing. He was having a blast. He was dancing after a couple of iron shots. He hit multiple shots to within 6 feet. Like, he was playing really, really well. But on the other side, you do have to feel for Boston a little bit, who's now played 2 matches. In both of those matches, they've played so well. They've only bogeyed 4 holes out of their 30 that they've played. They just cannot get a win. They lost the first match in overtime. This one, LA was just a hair bit stronger, a hair bit better. It's outrageous that they can play 30 holes, bogey 4 of them, and they haven't won a match. Like, but that's kind of how it's playing out in Live. It's really based on whoever wins that first hole. Whoever takes the lead first is pretty much in control. And when it came to the hammer, LA controlled it the entire night. They had it from the jump. Never used it because they never needed to. Boston never looked like they were gonna threaten them once they got out to that 3-0 lead. And from there, what's the point in making a hole worth more if you're already up 3-0? So, like I said, this week there was no TGL, thankfully for me. But next week there are 3 matches on Monday, 1 match on Tuesday. So I'll be dropping the podcast Monday morning before the 3 matches start. So that'll be a lot of fun to see. It's going to be basically, I think it'll be on basically all day. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll have some breaks in there for teams to warm up and whatnot, but it'll be a lot of fun. Next week, I'll touch on all the matchups and the lineups and everything. Obviously, I don't have the lineups out yet, so touch on all that next week. But outside of that, we'll jump into the golf news. All right, golf news. Past week, as I said before, I was going to talk about Luke Clanton, the Florida State junior, who I had mentioned last week, needed to make the cut to earn his tour card. He made an insane run at it on Friday. He shot 3 over on Thursday. Ended up going 4 under on Friday, missing the cut by 1 stroke. I was watching it. I felt so bad for the kid because he absolutely tore it up from 11 to 18. He was playing his best golf during that time. On the 15th, he was a single rotation away from eagling that hole, which would have taken 18 basically out of it. But it ended up coming down to a birdie putt on 18. He ends up missing it, and you could see he was devastated, but he's going to be a hell of a golfer once he gets his card. I don't know if he's going to play in another tournament. He has to get a sponsorship exemption. He might just go back and finish a season out with Florida State, try and get them a national championship. But he's going to be an insane golfer when he makes it, and he's going to make it. It's a matter of time, not if. Like, he's going to make it. When he does, he'll be a lot of fun to watch. He was extremely fun to watch this tournament. If you have a chance, go check out whenever they're playing their next matches. I haven't looked up the NCAA yet. I'm going to touch on them next week because I do want to start talking about them again, start talking about the men's and the women's side of that. So I will mention them next week and mention whatever tournaments or whatever matches they have going on. Next, you had Tiger Woods. He withdrew from the Genesis Invitational after the passing of his mother a little over a week ago now. So, unfortunate. Everyone wanted to see him play. He's hosting the event, but, family comes first. So, feel for him, feel for the Woods family. But he is withdrawing from the Genesis Invitational this weekend. So, you won't be able to see him play. Last thing on the golf news, you had Colin Morikawa basically take aim at Lucas Glover this week. Glover complained basically about the slow pace play a couple weeks ago, suggesting to get rid of aim point, which aim point is a way that players judge their putts or try to find the line and everything. So basically it involves a player walking up, using their feet to feel the slope, and then going back and using their hand and eyes to kind of figure out the start point of their putts. Yeah, it takes an extra couple of seconds or something like that, but it's really not that crazy. Colin did joke about getting rid of the long putter, which is what Lucas uses. Again, Lucas tried to sit there and say that aim point doesn't really help players make more putts. Morikawa disagreed with that. It's helped him a ton. I've done it a couple of times. It helped. The one thing that Lucas is right on, it takes a couple of extra seconds. So if you're playing at a slow pace already and then you go ahead and you're doing this and it's taking more time, yeah, it's going to slow down the pace of play even more. But I think for the most part, you don't really see that on the PGA, and most of these guys are smart enough that, hey, if my group's playing slow, I can't take the extra couple of seconds, read it like a normal putt. But I just thought it was funny, those two kind of going back and forth about this, because I think I've seen damn near every golfer use aim point to judge a putt now. Obviously not individuals, or I'm sorry, not amateurs and whatnot like us, like recreational players, but I have seen a lot of them using it on the course, and I think it's just funny to me that they're also complaining, or that Lucas is sitting here complaining about slow pace of play, because as a recreational golfer, I think everyone knows that we deal with that pretty much every time that we go out. I think I played 2 weekends ago, and I was sitting on pretty much every tee box, sitting waiting to hit. So, like, I guess as a recreational golfer, you get used to it, but as PGA, you kind of want to get into your rhythm and everything. So I just found it funny. I can tell you right now, I really don't think aim point, long putters, any of that stuff is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Again, kind of just funny that those two are kind of going back and forth about such petty things, in my opinion. But we'll jump ahead. Um, 2 events this next weekend, so we'll jump into those. All right. So this weekend we have 2 events. We have, as I mentioned before, the PGA Genesis Invitational, which is going to be at Torrey Pines Golf Course in San Diego, California. Again, got moved from LA because of the wildfires. And then Live Adelaide, the Grange Golf Club in Australia. Real quick, for last weekend's events, I had Sepp Straka top 10. I think he ended 15th. Lydia Koo winning, didn't hit. Neiman winning, didn't hit. Boston winning, didn't hit. So I struggled last week. This week I'm taking a little bit different approach. Ludwig, top 5, plus 400. He is the 5th lowest on that, so I believe he will get this. I think this is his tournament. And then Live Adelaide, I'm actually taking a hole-in-one in the tournament at plus 350. I think there will be a hole-in-one this tournament. I could not find the other bet that I wanted to do, which was basically taking Ripper, because pretty much every time one of those teams play in their home country, they win. So Ripper, they're all the Australians. I have a good chance, or a good feeling, that they're going to go ahead and win it. They did it last year, same thing in Australia. I want to say that the Spanish team, I can't remember who they are right now. I want to say it's Torque. It's all the Spanish players. They won it in Spain last time that they were out there last year. So it's kind of just been something that's been happening with Liv. So I have a good feeling that that Ripper will win this weekend. But again, I couldn't find the actual odds for that. So I took the hole-in-one during the tournament instead, which was the plus 350. So hopefully one of those hits, make me some money, because I think I've missed on my last 7 or 8 bets when it comes to this podcast. So, but outside of that, I got nothing else for you guys this week. Again, sorry that it's a little bit late. Next week we'll be out on Monday, pretty early Monday, so that it's before the live events. Before the TGL events. I believe TGL starts at like 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to try and get it out by at least like 8 a.m. Eastern. But I'll post something on TikTok, Instagram when it is out, so that you guys can go ahead and check it out before TGL starts. Outside of that, see you guys next week.